Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will learn how to make the rigid body simulation in Blender. The effect you just saw is quite simple and can be achieved in few steps. So let's get started. For this, I'm using Blender 4.5.1. I'll also turn on my screencast keys so that you can see everything on the bottom left corner. This is how the viewport looks like. If I press spacebar, you can see how all of it interacts together. I'll show you the entire process to achieve this step by step. You can do this with whatever object you like. In our case, I'm going ahead with the AirPods. I'll just select the case and delete it because we don't need it for now. You can also keep in the case if you want for the animation. Select your AirPod or whatever object you have, place it randomly in the scene. Make sure you have it as the active element with all of the transforms applied. If you don't have it, press Ctrl A and apply all transforms. Once you apply that, you'll see that the origin point has shifted. So go to Object, Set Origin, and Origin to Geometry. Next, we're going to add a rigid body. You can find this in the physics properties over here. So go ahead and apply the rigid body. You can increase the mass depending on the weight of the object. For now, I'm just going to leave it at 2 kilograms. Next, the shape has to be the shape that your object looks like. For example, if you have a box structure, you can select box. If you have a bottle or something, you can select a cylinder. In our case, I'm leaving it at convex hull. For the surface response, I'm going to reduce the friction a bit so that it reacts easily with the force fields that we apply. So I'm going to leave it at 0.240. And for the bounciness value, I'm going to leave it at zero point 0.2. If you want your object to bounce even more, you're going to keep this value to a high number, but for us, zero point 0.2 works well. Next is the collision margin. So for the collision margin, I'm going to set the value to a small number like 0.004. That should work well. And finally, just take the deactivation. Now, if you go to the scene properties, you'll see that I have my gravity turned on. And inside the field weights, which is at the bottom, my gravity is all the way to 0. But let me show you what happens if I increase it to 1. So now I have this. And if I just play my animation, you will see that the AirPod falls down and it keeps on falling. So we don't need that. So that's why I turn the gravity all the way to 0. And now if I play the animation, nothing happens. All right, let's go ahead and fix this part. So first of all, I'm going to press Shift A and go to the force field and add a normal force. I'll scale this a bit and press Ctrl A to apply the scale. Perfect. Now, under the force field settings, I'll increase the value of the force, let's say to 10. And if you play the animation now, you'll see that the AirPod is slightly shifting outwards. Since we don't want this to go outwards, we want it inwards, we're just gonna reverse the strength value by a negative sign. And in our case, let's add -40 so that there's more force. You save this part and play the animation. So you see that the AirPod comes to the center. All right, so the first force is working. Next, let's go ahead and add some turbulence. So again, force field, and this time we're selecting turbulence. Again, scale this roughly to match the previous force field. Press Ctrl A, apply your scale again. And this time, let's give it a value of probably 5. That should be good. All right, let's play this again. You can experiment with different force values to see how it interacts with the force field, and it would depend from case to case and the size of the object that you have in the scene. And finally, we'll add another force field, and this time it's gonna be a vortex. So we select that, scale it, rotate it in the x-axis by 90 degrees, and press Ctrl A to apply the scale. For this, I'm not gonna have too much strength because it's gonna react in a very funny way. Let me show you what I mean. So if I set the strength to something like 20, and if I play this, you see that the airport quickly comes to the scene, and we don't need that. So I'm gonna select something like 12 probably. Even this is too much, but let's see. This is still fine, but let's go ahead and make this 10. I think that should be good enough. And we almost have our entire scene set up. All we got to do is just duplicate the AirPods, place it in different corners. Do it for this one as well. Make sure that all of them are not just in a single axis. And also we can give them different rotations by clicking double R. All right, now if we go to the front view, this is something that our scene looks like. And if you press the space bar and play the animation, only some of them react because we have duplicated the active element. And in our case, I think this is the active one. So whatever we duplicated from this has already applied the properties of the rigid body from the active element. And in order to apply it for all the elements, let's press A to select everything in the scene and press Ctrl and your mouse click to deselect the things that you don't want. And finally, select the last active element. In our case, it's this one. And then just hit F3 and you're gonna do copy rigid. So that's your command, copy from active. Just do that and save it. So I think that's pretty much it. Next, you're gonna go to your scene properties, and under scene properties, just bake all the dynamics. It's gonna take some time depending on your system, but it won't take much time. Once the bake is ready, the animation is gonna play smoothly, and anytime that you feel that your field weights or the force are not strong enough or you need to adjust something, you just delete all the bakes and rebake it again. Because if you don't delete the bakes, even though you delete any of the force fields or change the values, it is still going to react in the same way as it did before. So now that our bake is complete, let's go ahead and see how the animation looks like. So as you can see that it is interacting in a wonderful way. You can also reduce the bounciness value because if you see at the first impact, they bounce a lot. So go ahead and reduce the bounciness value. You can play ahead with the strengths, the force fields, the values, and you can play around with this as much as you like. I hope you learned something in this tutorial. In case you guys make anything like this, don't forget to tag me in the comments and I would love to see your artwork. That's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like and follow for more such Blender tutorials.